Hello, and thanks for tuning in to your next math lesson with Mr. C. And we are on 1-5, multiplying and dividing by 10, 100, and 1,000. You can pause the video to write this now. All right, and we are going on to the next slide. Something new at the beginning of each video is we will be checking yesterday's homework for additional feedback to you so that you know that you're on the right track. And you should be checking 1-4. This should have been passed back to you by now. All right, now let's go to the answers. Here are your answers for 1-4. Please pause the video now to check your answers. Please star the ones you got right. And now we're going to the next slide. Alright, so again we are working on multiplying and dividing by 100, 10, and 1,000. And specifically, what do we do with the decimal point of a number when we do these things? And by the end of this lesson, you will know what to do with the decimal point. So let's read this question of this beautiful sailfish with a very large nose. How can you multiply by powers of 10? Well, the sailfish has been recorded swimming at speeds greater than 100 kilometers per hour. About how many miles per hour is this? Okay, I want to circle. Here's my question that really matters to me. How many miles per hour is this? Use 1 kilometer is about equal, this means about equal, a squiggly equal sign, 62 hundredths of a mile. Choose an operation. Multiply 62 hundredths by 100 to convert 100 kilometers to miles. All right, so different ways you could do that. Well, you could, on a normal occasion, I know that if it was just 62 miles and I times that by 100, then I would add 2 zeros and it becomes 6,200. But I'm wondering, what do I do with the decimal point? And so this problem should help us understand what to do with the decimal point. So let's look at this table right here. Next, the table shows the relationship between the number of zeros in factors that are powers of 10. So factors are right here, their exponential forms, and the number of places the decimal point of another factor is moved to the right to find the product. All right, so we have the factor of 10, and the exponential form, which we learned in the previous lesson, is 10 to the first power. And if we do multiply by 10, you move the decimal point 1 to the right. And if we multiply by 100, which is 10 squared, or 10 to the second power, we move it 2 places to the right. Okay, how do we remember how many places we move it to the right? Well, I see 1 and I see 2 zeros, so all you got to do is count the zeros. If you multiply by 1,000, I see 3 zeros. It's also 10 to the third power, that's how many pillows it has, or zeros. And it will move 3 places because there's 3 zeros. As a reminder, 10 to the third power means 10 times 10 times 10. There's 3 of them. So let's get back to the original question. This isn't 62, this is 62 hundredths, and we want to multiply it by 100. Well, we just found the rule here. If you're multiplying, you move the decimal point to the right. So to multiply by 100, or 10 squared, move the decimal 2 places to the right. Annex zeros if needed. And you know, I'm not really exactly sure what annex means, but maybe it means get rid of, because I don't see that there, but not sure. The decimal point moves 2 places to the right. It goes 1, 2. And so 62 hundredths became 62. So 100 kilometers is about 62 miles. The sailfish can swim faster than 62 miles per hour. Well, that's multiply, and that's a good rule to know. I'm wondering what divide is. Alright, so here are my handwritten notes, and this is just to make it easy. This is the whole point of the lesson, and this is what I want you to write. Maybe you could put 2 bullet points. When multiplying by 10, move the decimal to the right, which makes it bigger. So for example, if you have 70 cents and you multiply it by 10, you move it 1 to the right, and all of a sudden now you have $7, which is obviously bigger. So when you multiply, it becomes bigger. But if you have 70 cents and you move it 1 to the left, you now have, I see this is in the 100 spot, that's 7 cents. 7 cents is less than 70, so that's smaller. Please pause the video if you need to copy these two. On to the next slide. So now we're doing example 1. And if I have it underlined in red or circled in red, that is what you're writing because it's example 1, so we're not overwhelmed. Let's read this. Find 5 7/10 divided by 1,000, or let's say it a different way, 5 7/10 divided by 10 to the third power. I wonder if you remember what third power is for short. Please tell the person next to you if you know. And that is 10 cubed. All right, so here's a table of the relationships, just like multiplication, but look, it says moves to the left, as we said in vocab. Multiplication moves to the right. Division, because this is a divisor, moves to the left. The decimal point will move to the left. So if we have 5.7, we're going to look right here, divided by 1,000, then you take the decimal right here, you move it 1, 2, 3, and you put it right there. I knew that there was 1, 2, 3 zeros in 1,000, so we moved the decimal point 3 times. So notice how when you move the decimal point, there's not going to be anything here. So it was here, and then you move it here all the way 3 points, and these don't stay invisible, they become zeros. So I think that might be what they mean by annex zeros. So the new answer is 57, let's see, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. 57 10,000s. Let's go to the next problem. Pause the video if you need to. Alright, so this is example 2, and please try these by yourself. You're asking yourself, what would I multiply 95.2 by to equal 9,520? Likewise, what would I divide this number by to equal over here, and so on. When you have your answers, feel free to unpause the video and check your answers. Please pause the video now. Alright, so here are your answers to example 2, and you can write these in if you don't have them correct. You multiplied by 100 because it had you moving the decimal twice, and in 100 there's 2 zeros, so it became 9,520. For this one, divide. Well, when dividing, I know I go to the left. 1, 2, 3. And so that's 1,000. I knew I needed to divide by something with 3 zeros, and that's 1,000 because it moved 3 to the left in the answer over here. All right, and if you divide by 10 squared, well, you should have known that that's 100. There's 2 pillows here, 10 squared. And dividing, I know I go to the left 2, and so that's our answer right there. Pause the video if you need to. Alright, for independent or partners practice, it is page 19 through 20, numbers 14 through 21. When you are ready to check your answers, please unpause the video and go to the next slide. Please pause it now. 19 and 20. Alright, here are your answers for page 14 through 21. Once you're done checking your answers, please go into the gas station on Socrative. Thank you for tuning in to your latest math lesson. You are awesome. Did you know that?